Today on the podcast, we're going to be looking at how to use your social media posts to drive sales or engagement. Again, today what we're going to be looking at, you've been posting on social media, you're getting lots of likes, people are interested, and everything seems to be looking good. But you're forgetting that at the end of the day, all the posting that we're doing on social media is because we're trying to drive sales. And we're trying to drive, not just engagement, but sales. We want people to see the posts. We want people to do something. Because at the end of the day, we're not just posting for posting's sake. We're posting because we're hoping that at some time, whether 3 months or 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, we're hoping that money is going to come out at the end of the day. So the reason why we're looking at this today is because too many people are putting up interesting content, really creative content on their social media handles, and stuff is blowing up. But people are not paying attention as to how all this activity can help you get more money into your business. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. If this is your jam, then this podcast is the place for you. So stay tuned in here. Stay locked in. Subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, or any player of your choice. And if you'd love to connect with me, I'm the host of the show. My name is Tavishima Ayede. You can call, send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. Oh, by the way, shout out to Lucia of Rolling Stones? Yeah, Rolling Stone Realty. Rolling Stone Realty, who called me up today. And she is officially the third person to ever call me and the second female. So I like the fact that 3 people have called. 2 of them happen to be female. Everybody else just goes ahead and sends a WhatsApp message. So I'm not saying the rest of you should call me, because actually it's more convenient when you send a WhatsApp message. But anyway, so shout out to Lucia. And because of Lucia and questions that Lucia had, I'm going to be making another podcast episode in another 2 or 3 days, just so that those of you in the real estate space, you can have more ideas for how to follow through with conversations on conversations with potential customers. Because that's pretty much what Lucia and I spoke about when she called. So you guys can see how when you do reach out, you actually do inform the content of the show. And yes, it's my real number. So, I'm saying it again. But of course, people will be surprised when they call and then I pick. It's me. It's not a PA. At least not now. When I become a certified big boy, yes, somebody else will answer this phone. But for now, I'm still the one who's answering the calls. So, how to use social media posts to drive sales or engagement. Now, first of all, what is engagement? And then how does engagement lead to more sales? Now, engagement just means people are interacting with the post. Let me put it that way. So people are viewing. Okay, viewing is not really engagement. Let's say people are liking. But the most important, not all engagement is created equal. Let me just put it that way. So views. Okay, views is not really engagement, like I said. Likes. Likes is okay, but it doesn't really do anything. Well, it gives the algorithm some signals that this might be valuable content, so it shows to more people. But then the engagement metrics that seem to weigh more are shares, reshare, retweets, things like that, and then sliding into people's DMs. So that really gives the algorithm signals that this is a good piece of content. And those are the kind of engagement, that we need. So when somebody likes what I put out, it's good. But when somebody shares what I put out, it's even better. When somebody shares and comments, it's even better. If the person shares and then from there slides into my DM, that is even the best. Because it is only when people are hitting me in my DM and hitting you in your DM that there's increased opportunity to close deals. So essentially, this is what engagement is, and this is why engagement is important. Now, lots of you are putting up beautiful posts, wonderful posts that are getting lots of views and lots of likes, but you have not been gaining engagement per se on those posts. And you have not been using call to actions to get people to engage with that post. A call to action just means the next step that you want somebody to do. So, For those of you who've been listening to the podcast for a while, remember that time when I said one young guy was doing prospecting outside my son's school and he gave me a flyer. And on the flyer, it said back to school sales. Somewhere it said, what did he say again? Was it call or DM for something discount? Now, that is a call to action on the flyer. If he guy just sent out a flyer and the thing said, Uchenna and Co. back to school stores, the best in Abuja, and then you just leave it like that, that's an okay design for a flyer, but it could be better because most people will just look at them like, interesting. Some people will keep, some people will throw away. But then when you include in the flyer, especially since you know how Abuja mummies can be, daddies might not pay attention, but mummies pay attention. You put it there, back to school, something, and then at the end, you say, call now for 17% discount or something. Now, Abuja mummies, and in fact, Lagos mummies, definitely, some of them, because, moms are always thinking about those sorts of things. Oh, school is about to end. My son has been using this bag for 2 terms. I think we need a new bag. By the way, in my own opinion, so what? If the bag hasn't fallen apart, then we can continue. But you know how mummies can be now. You like, you mummies, you want your children to look good, look smart all the time. So, because there's a call to action there, mummies will see it and mummies will take action. Send you a DM, call. So, it is from engaging with that flyer that you put out that will lead to more opportunities for business conversations and sales. And so you guys should be doing this thing online as well. So it's not just enough that you put out something and the thing went viral, 1 million likes. How many shares did you get? How many comments did you get? How many people slid into your DM? In fact, that sliding into the DM, I'm telling you guys, that's one that is the sweetest one. Because know how, 100 people slide into your DM, there's money to be made there. But 100 people just liked, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's money there. 100 people reshared, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's money there. But so it's not just likes we're looking for. We're looking for reshare, we're looking for retweet, we're looking for slide into my DM, or we're looking for comments, down below so that people can get something. So that essentially is what I want to pass across now. It's not just about wonderful posts. It's about engagement, especially the kind of engagement that leads to us getting some money. Because I can assure you, I have been making this podcast for 5 years, and there are lots of people who say, 5 years, how did you do it? There are some people who give up after 2 months. In fact, some people give up even after 1 week. It is hard to be putting out stuff and you are not seeing Naira and Kobo. So, in the beginning, you had better factor that and make that a part of the conversation. Part of the equation, that when you're putting out content, you have a content strategy. You are thinking about the kind of engagement that eventually will lead you to have fruitful business conversations with people that could lead to you making some money. Let this thing be worth your effort. Because not everybody can stay at something for 5 years, like some of us. All right, so, let me see. Okay, so if you want, how will I put it now? Okay, so I've explained what engagement is. Okay, so that's likes, comments, shares. Okay, saves. I forgot saves. Saving is also a good one because when people save, especially women, when they save on Instagram, they usually come back to it. So for those of you who, you had a conversation with someone 5 months ago and then everything went quiet and then all of a sudden the person is back now messaging you and you're wondering, oh, how did that happen? It's because the person most likely did the save function. So they were chatting. The woman was not really ready now, but then she did that save thing, save one of your posts. Now that she's ready, she can go back into saved section on Instagram and see that post and then go back in the DM to say, well, now I'm ready. Send me 15 pieces of Ankara. So that's how it works. So save is also a good engagement. Yes. Okay. So the whole point of engagement is we are trying to, how do I put it now? The whole point of engagement is we're trying to get a conversion. Yes, we're trying to get a conversion. We're trying to get someone to take the next step. So whether we're trying to get a sale or we're trying to get somebody to sign up for something or we're just trying to create a lead. So there are different kinds of call to actions that we can be using in our post. And I want to explore that today because lots of you are just creating wonderful content, but you are not really thinking about these things. So there's one guy listening to the podcast who sent me some samples. I'm not going to use your real name, but I'll admit, and yeah, if you think it's you, it actually is you. Let me not call you by name. The post actually is nice. The post is nice, and it's a beautiful concept. It's a really, really beautiful concept. The guy is involved in tech sales and is looking for, as in gadget sales, and is looking for different ways to market his business. So he comes up with really entertaining videos about the history of certain models, the history of certain gadgets, things like that. So yeah, these things are beautiful and people like it. But guy, signaling you, and it's the truth. As you're doing this thing, and as people are liking it, we have to start thinking, what kind of call to actions can we be using in this post so that we can be driving conversions? People can be taking the next step, and people can be doing stuff now that might end up with us having some sales in, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. And by the way, that's the reason why I asked you, this guy, I'm not using your real name, but I know it's you. That's the reason why I asked you, do you think you can keep doing this for another 2 or 3 years? Because unless you start including very more direct calls to actions, you would actually have to do this over the long term for you to get organic growth out of it. As in people just saying, oh, what's up? How far? How much? Okay, anyway, let me go into the example of calls to actions. We've already done 10 minutes so far. So, one call to action that can drive engagement is where people ask comments or questions. People do this a lot on LinkedIn. They used to do it before on Instagram, although I don't see it as much, but I guess you can bring it back. That's where you ask a question or call for comments, where you say, what is your biggest challenge with blah, blah, blah? Share in the comments below. So, in this thing that you sent me, okay, let me call him McFrank. That's not his real name, McFrank. So, McFrank, now, in that thing that you sent me about the evolution of, what's it called, BlackBerry and stuff like that, you can ask a question. Because, there's that part in the material that you sent where you are talking about how, BlackBerries used to be cool and people used to oppress and things like that. You can ask that question, how did you use a BlackBerry, to oppress babes or to oppress your classmates back in the day? Bam, you put it there. Especially since people are already feeling that topic, people might be dropping it. The almost is true. There was one guy who had BlackBerry, so BlackBerry Bold 3, man, the guy used to oppress us, something, comment. As people are commenting, it's boosting the algorithm. The algorithm is saying, people are feeling this thing. People really value this thing. And then the algorithm will start showing it to more and more and more people. So you can see that it's not just enough to put the post. In this case, since we're calling for comments will be boosting the algorithm. Hopefully, algorithm will be reaching other people who could become potential customers or clients. So you can see that call to action doesn't always mean you have to say buy now. So McFrank, I know you're afraid that I'm asking you to say buy now. No, I'm not saying buy phones now. Eventually you will get to that point where you're telling people buy my phone now. Eventually we get to that point. But for now, there's stuff that you can do. So, ask for a question. Biggest challenges. How did you use BlackBerry 2 to oppress people back in the day? Comments below. Or who of you are so sad that BlackBerry has gone away and we no longer have BB pin? Comment below. Or which of you are iPhone users or iPhone family and you think BlackBerry was the worst thing that has ever been invented? Comment below. Even that is call to action. Another one, tag a friend who needs to see this. That's a call to action. At the end of the post, thank you very much for listening or watching the wonderful blah 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 evolution of BlackBerry, if you still know that friend who happens to have a BlackBerry now in 2025, tag that friend below. That's a call to action. It is boosting the algorithmic performance. If people tag, the algorithm will say, people love this thing, and it will start boosting to more people, and hopefully those people could become potential customers. Then polls and quizzes, because in that video, McFrank, sorry, not the video, I think it was a picture. There was one where there was like a purple BlackBerry and I think like a BlackBerry or something. So polls and quizzes. So thank you very much for reading. Thank you very much for watching. You saw the 1996 version of the BB pin something. Which was your favorite color? Click on the poll below, A or B. And then people are voting. Especially on Instagram. I think on Instagram, people used to be able to do polls. I don't know about now because I'm no longer on Instagram. So you could do polls on Instagram. I think you can still do polls in WhatsApp. Okay, that's if it's a WhatsApp community. Let's see what else. So things like this, getting more engagement. What is your favorite thing about blah, blah, blah? Or remember that saving is also a good kind of engagement. So you can even put it there, Save this post to remember, or save this post to refer to, or save, something like that. So you can see that at the end of the post, by including a call to action, you are calling for some forms of engagement and increasing the probability that there might be room for business conversations down the line. So call to action doesn't always mean buy now. It doesn't always mean that. So McFrank, don't be afraid. I'm not saying put at the end of every post, buy now. Then, let's see, what else? I made a list of them. So download, good. So get people to download a freebie. So download a free copy of something. That is a good call to action. The idea behind the download our something is, whether it's download our PDF or download our quiz, is that might be a sign that these are people who might be interested in your product or service. So they do that, and then it's not going to be out of place that you contact them later on to say, I noticed you downloaded our free PDF, something. Thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate that you like our content. I was just curious, do you happen to be in the market for so and so? You might be able to spark some conversation. So download the freebie. Or like me, sometimes when I put up stuff on LinkedIn, I say, click on the link in bio to listen to the podcast. Because I want people to read the post on LinkedIn. And then the engagement I want them to click on the link so that they get taken to the podcast and then subscribe to the podcast. Because it's from subscribing to the podcast that there's a chance that they might reach out to me sometime in the future. And there's a chance that eventually, they might become a paying client. So that's another call to action. Download your freebie, click on link in bio, what else? Register for our masterclass, comment below, and we'll send you a DM that will give you more product descriptions. Okay, let's see. Okay, Lucia, yes, real estate. Rolling Stone Realty. So let's say Lucia puts up a post and they have places in Guzape, A and B. One is a twin duplex something. Another one is a double terrace, something. And, they're comparing the different kinds of plots, different kinds of amenity or something. And then they can put call to action below. They say, comment guide below and we will DM you our estate comparison chart or estate comparison flyer or something. Basically that people be able to look at it and they'll be able to see that, okay, for the different estates that they have in Abuja, what are the houses, what are the bedroom sizes, what are the amenities, what is this, what is the that. And of course, if someone types in the comment guide and you send it to them, There actually is no problem with you reaching out later on to say, we hope the guide was useful. Oh, and by the way, how come you requested the guide? Are you just curious, or do you happen to be in the market for real estate? But you can see that by putting a call to action, we're creating some kind of engagement that could lead to business conversations that might end up with someone becoming a customer. Expectations. Yes, let me set the right expectations, because some people misunderstand me. Sorry, forgive me if in making the podcast, I make it look as if you do any of these things, money is guaranteed. There's nothing in life that is guaranteed. Nothing. The only thing that's guaranteed in life is, we've been born and we're going to die. So death is the only thing that is guaranteed. Everything else, we can rough it. It's the same with sales. Sales is a game of probabilities. We're doing all these things to try and improve the odds or improve the probabilities in our favor, but it is not a guarantee. So one thing I can assure you is, if you are not using call to actions at all, then this is going to be a very long-term play. But at least if you're using these call to actions, strategically, you can increase the odds that you will start having business conversations, profitable conversations with people. Then you can also put call to actions that have, start your 7-day free trial now. Click on the link below to request a demo, or send DM and say something, to start a demo. So for those of you who have educational products, all of you crypto bros now, crypto bros and crypto sisters, that could be a good way. You've been running some educational content. You've been talking to people about crypto. You're talking about your exchange. By the way, if you're going to do this kind of thing, make sure that you are... Oh, sorry, one moment. Momsy is about to travel, so I need to service the car. Mechanic just came. Let me settle the mechanic and then I'll be back. Hello. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. You know what? Okay. I'm coming. I'll be back with you guys.